Greetings, fellow Earth people, and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel, the channel where we ask the universe to provide answers to your burning questions and your perhaps not so burning questions, using the power, the ancient power of the tarot as a conduit of knowledge, perhaps channeling from your guide, from the universal source, from whichever power you subscribe to, and from wherever you seek answers. So good morning and hello if you're watching me live. If you're watching this as a recording, stay tuned because the answers are just as relevant, and we're going to be using the cards to get answers to your questions. Okay, so bear with me. If you're watching on TikTok, good morning. Sometimes it's easier to get your questions answered if you come across to YouTube, just because I can see the questions easier towards the end of the show. And you'll find me on YouTube at Sky Spirit Creations. So if you want to come across, do so. If you want to stay on TikTok, absolutely fine as well. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you've all rested and rejuvenated lately and got your energies on point. Hello KLG, how you doing? And Samantha and Lynn, nice to see you this morning. And I think I missed a couple earlier as well. Roshan and Nithya, how are you doing too? Let's press this button. There we are. Right, I'm getting to grips with the technology now. Honestly, I am. Right, so we're going to start today with a collective reading, and this is a 3-card reading, and I do this because it gives me the chance to do a full narrative. Even if it's just 3 cards, it is a narrative, and it means that if something, a power or somewhere is trying to get a bit of a more detailed answer to you, then this is the opportunity. So what you might find is this is pinpoint directed at you with precision. All right, so this might really resonate. If it doesn't, please just accept the message, because the tarot has a message in every single interpretation. There's a message of wisdom for you there if you look for it. So if it doesn't apply now, it might apply in the future. So without further ado, I've got a jumping card already. I love that. We're going to go straight to the collective reading. Now that was the 8 of Cups, and that's the Moon, and that's the 4 of Wands reversed. So what do these cards mean? These cards have got a really clear message that I can read like a book, and I'm going to show you how I'm reading them as well. So first of all, this is a card, the 8 of Cups. Always look at the illustrations on tarot when you're interpreting them if you're a reader, because they're designed to give your intuition a little kickstart, and that you can read them even if you don't know anything about the cards. You can read what they mean. If you look, this guy is walking away from those cups, all right? He's got his back to them. He doesn't look back. He heads for the mountains. Now, over the mountains is a new horizon with the sun above them. Now, when you see mountains in tarot, think about challenges, all right? But this person is walking away from something. He's heading somewhere where it might be challenging. It might look like it's going to be a big, tough journey, all right? But what happens when you get to the top of a mountain? You can look over the full panorama of your sort of surroundings, of the vista. Think metaphorically, think about looking over your whole life, so you can go, okay, I did that right, I did that wrong, that was a great decision, that was pants, and it just gives you that entire perspective, all right? Objectivity, okay? So walking away from something. The Moon. Now this is an interesting card. It's a major arcana card. So what this means is it's a big transformative, a big transformative energy in your life, okay? Because our minor arcana cards are more like everyday events. Major is like whammy, big, massive changes, massive transformation, big influences. But what this card means is that, sorry, I'm just reading the chat again. I must stop doing that. I haven't got the kind of brain that can like look at different things at the same time and maintain some kind of semblance of momentum. Okay, so this Moon card here can mean that there's something hidden. When you look at the moon on that card, all right, what you've got there is you've got a moon of 2 faces. So there's something that's not showing. Think about how the moon only ever shows one face to the earth. There's always that dark side of the moon. that's relatively unknown unless you're an astronaut or unless you trust the pictures sent back by NASA. Not all of us do, but some of us have got a tin foil hat. But this basically means that there's a lot of things hidden. So it feels like you're walking away from something, or you need to walk away from something because there's deception involved, because there's something that isn't being brought out into the light, yeah, which is going to prompt this need to leave a situation because there's something that isn't honest about it. There's something which has been kept from you about something, which is why you're going to walk away, or why you're thinking about walking away. Now, the third card is that Four of Wands reversed. Now, the wands, when you look at a four, think of four legs on a table. It makes it very stable. Turn it upside down, you've got instability. Now, the Four of Wands is traditionally associated with domestic bliss, happiness, marriage, things like that. It's about being comfortable with the house that you live in and the people that you live with. With this being reversed and reading contextually with these cards, now, this is like, I hate doing sort of generic readings like this because it's like, I always think about the consequences when people are listening. So you have to join the dots. I give you the sort of tools. This is generic. You join the dots. How does this relate to your life if it does? All right. What we have here is you walking away from a situation of deception. Okay, something that isn't being brought out into the light, which means that the best thing you can do is turn away, don't look back, walk away, even if it feels like a challenging path. And it's coming from around you in your domestic life. If I was reading for somebody directly and they were having marriage problems or problems in a relationship, this would be loud and clear. Now, I'm not going to cast it out there that whatever relationship you're in, okay, they're lying to you, leave it now, all right? That would be really irresponsible of me. And besides, the tarot is very nuanced, so this could refer to anything about your sort of home life and the way that you live. It could mean, something a lot less dramatic than your partner's lying to you, leave them. It could be something else, like there's, I'm trying to think of, I'm really tired this morning. I'm trying to think of another relevant example. Something along the lines of perhaps your housing officer isn't being honest about the rent or something like that, and it's best that you get out of there because it's destabilizing your home environment. You see how the cards can mean so many different things to many different people. So it's always a mistake, I think, for readers when they're reading like on social media, when you've got a bigger audience, to sort of go, well, this means this, absolutely means that, because that's not always the case, all right? But what I hope is that if you're listening to this and it resonates with you, you know what these cards are symbolic of. So the message of these cards, because it's all right feeling all clever when someone goes, wow, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there, that's me. It's all right, pretty impressive, but pointless unless there's a reason for it, okay? The message from these cards is in this one. It's in the walking away. It's in the leaving and not looking back. It's in the mountains. It's in thinking that the way ahead to leave something is challenging and tough. But the message is that it's the right way forward to walk away from something if you're being deceived or if there's dishonesty there, because it's going to continue to destabilize you on a home front. When you think of home, also think how you feel about yourself, how you live, how you see yourself. That's all about the home, the castle, the way that we, our self-image. So let me know if that resonates with you. And I hope that helps somebody this morning, because it's a very clear message. And it's obviously a difficult situation because that moon card, that major arcana card, is quite a strong one, isn't it? Good morning, Kaza. How are you doing? Okay, I'm just reading what you've written. I shall have a look at that when I've gone through the readings, Kaza. We'll come straight to that one first. So let me just get that back on the screen. When I click on something else disappears because I've got different windows open, so I keep having to reopen other windows. Right. Another reason why I should get StreamYard, I guess. Okay, so that was our collective reading. Right. Kaza, I will come to that when we've done this. I want to do the 12 double card pick up first, and then we'll come straight back to that one. Are you all right to stick around until we get to that? Because I know this is important to you. I'm just shuffling here. Good morning, Roses. How are you? Now, if this is the point of the show, stream, how do we call it on your YouTube? Is it a show? Is it a stream? Show seems a bit like thinking it's TV or something. So this is the point of the thing that I do in the mornings, where I'm going to put down 12 sets of cards, 12 sets of 2 cards, and this is the time where you choose a number. But think about that question. What I said in the beginning is what we do is we answer your burning and not so burning questions. So what I need you to do is think about the question or the dilemma or the thing that you want some guidance about. Think about that. Try to focus on that and then choose one or more numbers. You can choose more than one number. We are not stingy with numbers here. So it's between 1 and 12. So you choose a number between 1 and 12. Think about your issue. Or sometimes it works better. If you don't particularly have an issue, just keep your mind open and accept the message that comes. Or if you want to just hedge your bets and take everything that you can get, just ask nothing, think nothing, choose every single number, listen to the whole thing and take what resonates with you, because sometimes the soul knows when you hear something that's relevant. And at the end of the day, as I said at the beginning, everything is relevant in some way. You know, you'll find that every message that we get is relevant at some point in your life in general. Okay, it's all good advice. So without further ado, I'm going to switch my little screen over so that you can see the cards going down. Look at that. There's lots of cat hair on it this morning. Right. So we'll put those cards down. Remember, think of 1 to 12. Actually, I'm going to choose numbers today. I'm going to write them down on a piece of paper. I always forget to do this. No, I'm going to choose that first. Right. Always another little tip here is go with the first number that comes into your head. All right, I just second guessed myself there. Good morning, Gavin. So it's important to go with that first number, because I went 10, then no 7, and then I went back to 10. So go with that first thing, because that first voice is often your intuition. Right, okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What I need is some background music for when I'm doing this shizness, so that it's not as empty. The empty void when I'm not talking makes me feel like it's gone on for ages and makes me feel anxious and awkward for not saying anything, even though it's literally seconds, and you probably are pleased to have a break from my voice. Right. We have the 12 cards down. So now I'm going to randomly choose these 1 to 12 and we'll go through the explanations. Now remember, this is generic. I'm giving you the dots and you have to join them. Or as Mr. Steve would say, I'm giving you the crayons. It's up to you to paint the picture. All right. And that's not Get Out. That's not me saying, well, I'm just going to do sort of a really sort of generic very sort of vague reading here, and you know, it'll apply to everybody, so it doesn't matter. That's not the case. It's like specifically, I can't be specific because I'm not dealing with one person one-to-one. Okay, right, we're going to go with number 10. Number 10. Right, Justice and the Star. So what do these cards mean? These are good cards. These are important cards. These are both major arcana cards, right? There's something where justice is going to be served, all right? It's something where you might have waited for the result of something for a long time, weighing up, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is it going to be a positive outcome, a negative outcome? Sometimes this literally can apply to you know, rulings in court and everything. Think about the Lady Justice, yeah, with her scales of justice, weighing up who's good and who's bad. Or it can be situations in life when you're not sure of which way things were going to go. But it's coming to a head now. It's like the time is nigh for justice to be served, whatever that means to you, okay? Maybe you've done something wrong or something right and you're about to be paid back for it. Maybe it's a karmic situation, but that's what our justice means now. Tying that in with the star. I love the star. if you've watched this before, you'll know that I love the star. The star is one of my favourite cards in the deck because it's literally the star of hope and healing. This can mean various things. I just wish sometimes that the tarot like had one card for every single specific situation. I mean, there would be probably thousands of cards, so it would be very difficult to shuffle them, but it would be easier to read because the star has many readings, many interpretations, I apologize, but all of them are good. Yeah, this is like, it's a card of healing. So you could be about to receive news about something good to do with health, or it could be something that you've waited for a long time, sort of a new career path. This is also, because it's associated with healing, it's sometimes associated with with becoming a healer, using healing energy. It's also associated with achieving what you've always wanted. See the star here, there's two things that come into my mind because each reader has their own little personal associations with the card, and it's how we remember what they mean. Little narratives, okay? When I see this star, I think the Star of Bethlehem and Mary and Joseph following along on the donkey, and they're following the dream, yeah? It's all like massively important angels, and you're going to a destination, yeah? But we've also got stars here, and the second way I look at this is stars around your name, like your name in lights. It's like achieving what you've always wanted to achieve. It's also a card of balance. It's a card of purity. It's a card of rebirth. Okay, so what's about to happen and how does this relate to it? Whatever it is, it feels like a good outcome for you. So I hope that if you chose number 10, that's relevant. Kaza, you chose number 10. That's brilliant. Number 9, KLG, one off. We don't know what number 9 is though, so it might be a even better one, but that's pretty good. We like that. We like that a lot. Right, okay. Anybody on TikTok? We've got 9 people on TikTok. If you're on TikTok and listening, then if you've got a question for the end, it might be a good idea to come across to Facebook. I'm not even on Facebook. YouTube at Sky Spirit Creations, where it's easier to see your questions. But I will keep an eye on the chat, and the wonderful mods will also try to pin questions. And if I can see them, I will answer them. Right, let's go back across here. We'll go to right to the beginning of time. Number 1. What do we have, number 1? We've got beautiful cards again. Today's going to be a good day. I can feel it already. Right, we have got the 9 of Swords reversed and the Ace of Pentacles upright. So what do these cards mean? Let's have a look. Right, great cards again. Always when I put the cards up, I get confused because my screen mirrors. So I'm like, why are they that way when they were that way? But it doesn't matter with 2 cards because you can read them sort of either way, if you see what I mean. So what do these cards mean? These cards are interesting because this card looks pretty severe, doesn't it? Person lying in bed with big knives over her head, and she's like, I can't stand it anymore. Which is basically what this card is. It's called the Nightmare card, and it's like a card which talks about things so bad that they keep you awake at night. Anxiety, stress, pressure, coming to the end of your tether, breakdowns, sort of that, when everything comes to a head, okay? And it's like, because it's a 9 as well, you'll find that in a suit in the tarot, the power sort of builds and the sort of events unfold. So your aces are beginnings, and then when you get towards the 10, that's like coming to the end of that cycle, building with power, but also finishing. It goes over the hump. So your 9, especially with this being reversed, okay, this is stress, anxiety, nightmares, but it's reversed. So the good news is this time is over. Now that is confirmed with this beautiful Ace card. Look at that hand coming out of the clouds of confusion and handing you an opportunity. So if you chose number 1 today, I hope somebody did, then what you've got coming is something a lot better than what you've just been through. All right, it feels like you're leaving behind this position of anxiety and stress, something where things are getting on top of you and it's just working out badly, keeping you awake at night. You know, this is the kind of when you wake up at 3 in the morning and you just ruminate about everything that's going wrong. That's done with. Put it behind you because you've got a new start on the cards. This Ace of Pentacles is one of the most renowned cards in the tarot deck for being handed something new. Pentacles is quite earthy. It's often associated with starting a new job, starting a new something practical in life, but it doesn't have to be, all right? If the question that you're thinking is more along the lines of romance, this could be putting behind you a toxic relationship and starting a new relationship. It is relevant no matter what your question was about, because it's the energy of the ace is all about new beginnings. What you could find is this is a new beginning that anchors you more, makes things more of a reality, brings you into a position where you're more grounded. Imagine you standing with your bare feet on the wet grass, absorbing the energy from the beautiful planet. That would be an ace new beginning. That would be an ace of pentacles moment, all right? So standing there with your feet on the grass, looking up at the sky and just imagining the potential that the universe has for you, because this is a card of unbridled potential. It's in your hand. What are you going to do with it? So if you chose number 1, goodbye stress, hello potential. What beautiful cards. We're going to go to number 2 now. Number 2. These are interesting. We've got the Hierophant and we've got the 3 of Cups. So what do these cards mean? These are almost like opposite cards. They are interestingly different. Let's put it like that. There's one really literal explanation of these cards. Sorry, interpretation, I should say, rather than explanation. Which is really specific, all right, which is marriage, okay? Because the Hierophant is often associated with marriage. It's a structure, it's an organization. It's a Hierophant. Sometimes in some decks it's called the Pope. So it can be about religion, but it's about sort of patriarchal organizations like the church, like the Masons, like big corporations, potentially. So it's sometimes a card associated with marriage. And when we pair that with the 3 of Cups, which, have a look at these chicks on here, dancing with their wine glasses held aloft. They are partying like the rock stars, partying like there's no tomorrow. Associate that with a card that's indicative of marriage potentially. And if I was sitting with somebody and they were asking, am I going to get married? Or that would be a firm yes. But because we're looking generically, if you chose number 2, don't worry, you're not going to be sort of sold as a bride or a husband if you weren't planning that. It's not like set in stone. Remember with the tarot, as far as I'm concerned, nothing is set in stone. That's the great thing about human life. We have this free will. So what you get with the tarot, as I see it, and as I've seen it work out many, many times over the decades, is that you get like what is likely to happen given the current energies, but you can always change things. For example, this is a bit like dark, but imagine if I did a tarot reading for somebody and said, you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger, which I'd never say because it's a massive cliche, but imagine if I did and they went, well, that's brilliant, and walked out the door and made the decision to walk in front of a bus. They obviously wouldn't be meeting the tall, dark stranger in this lifetime, yeah? So that would be their choice, which had changed that outcome. Yeah, so important to remember, but obviously that's a really extreme example. Right, so potentially marriage, or we've got 2 opposite things here. So we've got patriarchal organization, things like things that are structured, things that are organized, things that are traditional, things that are, this would be the card that my stepfather would wave at me and go, and stop being so disorganized, become more organized in your life. You know, you've got to follow structure and routine. It's no good being this head in the clouds person with everything being a mess and never knowing what you're doing from one day to the next. That would be his card to me, all right? So maybe this is the message for you along those lines. Think about it as in lines of these traditional things, that sort of, that routine, that structure. And then we've got this celebration card, this joyful 3 of Cups, partying, enjoying yourself, being open, being social. Is this a tap on the shoulder to say, all right, time to put down the wine glass and get more organized? That's a potential interpretation of these cards. Or is it something about celebrating within an organization? Yeah, you see how the narrative can go either way, and there's various nuanced interpretations of these cards. Remember, I'm giving you the dots, you have to join them. So we've got strict organization structure, or perhaps a patriarchal society or organization such as the church, and we've got, on the other hand, a celebration. How do these cards work together for you? Please let me know if they do. They were tricky ones because they're so different. Right, let us go now to number 3. I can't remember what I wrote down as the cards I was going to choose. Oh, I chose 1, which I've already did, and 10, which I've already did. So they were good cards. I'm pleased. Right, number 3. Right, we've got the 8 of Wands and we've got the 10 of Wands. This is interesting. I keep using that adjective, don't I? I must find... This is beautiful. These are beautiful cards. All right, that 8 of Wands is actually reversed as well. Right, here's a phrase that these cards scream: emotional baggage. Yeah, these cards are talking about the need to get rid of emotional baggage and the fact that it's been put off for too long. There's something... Oh, thank you very much, KLG. That is so kind of you. Gift memberships. We love gift memberships. Awesome. So, oh, look at all those people that are now members. Isn't that lovely? Thank you so much, KLG. Back to what I was saying there. Right, you've hung on to some emotional baggage for too long and it's starting to become a real burden. These cards, right, literal explanation. If you'd been thinking about going for trauma counselling, something like that, to release something that happened to you a long time ago, or just the fact that you can't let go of something, or something's weighing heavy on your mind and you've been putting it off. These would be like a tap on the shoulder to say, get on with it, okay? Go and release those burdens because they're weighing you down. Obviously, that's a really literal example. It could just be that you need to reduce the burden on yourself and you need to do it now. The reason that I'm introducing urgency into this is this card, the 8 of Wands up that way. It's like fast. It's like, imagine those arrows, like ping, 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 ping. And they're like sort of coming in fast. When it's upside down, it's like, this needs to happen fast, but you're not doing it fast. It feels like you're stagnating, you're stuck, you're not making that decision, you're not walking forward. Hello, Tishelle, how are you doing? It's like, you need to do this now. You need to act quickly. And it's because this card is having a big influence on you. This 10 of Wands, look at the illustration on that. That guy is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, made of sticks. See how he carries them? And in the distance, I don't know if you can see this, there is a castle on a mountain. Remember what I said about mountains? They look challenging. When you get to the top, you find that you have that objectivity and the way you can look over your whole life. Yeah? It's going to be really difficult for him to get to and climb that mountain and get to. There's a castle on top, which is symbolic of his home. When he comes home, you know when you've come home because it's the place where you feel like you're most at home, whether that is bricks and mortar, or whether it's a place in your head or a place with a person where you feel like you've come home. Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to climb to his home, because he's carrying those sticks. So what he needs to do is put them down. Yeah, he needs to put them down in order to be able to climb, to go through those challenges and come to the place where he feels at home, either spiritually, mentally, or physically. Okay, so it could be that, you know, it's just emotional baggage, as I say, that needs to be put down in order for you to feel more spiritually at home with yourself, to feel more comfortable in your own skin. Or it could be that you need to put down emotional baggage in order to feel more attuned with a partner, or to even find a new partner. Maybe you can't find one because you're self-sabotaging because you've got so much emotional baggage weighing you down. But what this card tells us when read in context is it's time now for you to make that decision, because how many of us carry that emotional baggage and we just keep hold of it and we keep thinking, yeah, you know, I've got a real repeating cycle of things that I do and emotions that I go through and ways that I act, which are pretty negative. I'll deal with them at some point. Yeah, I must do some shadow work. I must see a therapist. I must do this. I must do that. And then you just get so involved with life that you just never bother getting round to it. And what those things do is that they just build up, and they eventually infiltrate little areas of your life and trip you up in different ways. Yeah. Thank you, KLG. And they sort of cause problems. They start bleeding into areas of your life where you don't need them to bleed into. So what we need to do is purge them, burn them out. Sometimes, of course, if we're talking literally therapy, it can be tough, really tough, because otherwise we'd all just slip into therapy, unburden ourselves of our past, and then just move forward. Yeah, it's a tough process, whether you see somebody or whether you do it yourself, whether you work on those shadows yourself. But these two cards are really like this little tap on the shoulder saying, maybe it's time you put these things down. Maybe it's time you left them behind, because it's going to be so much easier to climb to your home, to feel at home with yourself once you've done that. Those are beautiful cards. I like them. They've given me tingles of truth across my shoulders. So that's always a good indication, I think, that Spirit's working very closely to get that message to somebody. I'm doing this course at the moment with an evidential medium who's amazing, called Suzanne Giesman. I got a scholarship to the course, I'll have you know, but it's really, really amazing. And like different things that you notice when you're starting to work with Spirit, like those tingles when it's sort of a message from Spirit rather than anything else. But I'll go more into that at a later date. Right, we'll go for number 4. Number 4. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles and the Devil. What do we have here? This is very illuminating for somebody here. Get that TikTok screen back on. There we are. Right. So what does the Devil and the Queen of Pentacles have to say to you? Right. They've got, again, we've got various interpretations here. I'm going to give you a couple. And then I'm going to leave it in your hands to join the dots as usual. All right. So let's start with the Devil. The Devil is about toxicity. Toxicity, is that the word? Yeah, toxicity. That's difficult to say. It's about toxic stuff. It's about toxic relationships, toxic attachments, addictions, addictive patterns of behavior, negative things, negative associations, being chained to physical relationships because of the physical side of them. That temptation thing, that thing where you know something's bad for you, but you stick around because it feels good on a physical level, all right? This is particularly interesting, this card, because this couple here are actually the dudes from the Lovers card, and they're chained to the Devil. And this is indicative of the fact that you're basically chained to some kind of toxic sort of bond. It's like a trauma bond between two people here. But the interesting thing is, on the original illustration in the Rider-Waite deck, which these cards, these are the Universal Golden Tarot, but they're based on the Rider-Waite. I just like them because they've got gold bits on, so I'm a bit of a magpie. But the chains are very loose, and that's symbolic of the fact that you can shed them at any time and walk away. Yeah. So whereas the Devil is a negative card, okay, it is also a card that tells you that this is of your own making and you can release yourself from the shackles. Yeah, you can walk away from this, you can take the chains off, but it takes some action. Now, this is an illuminating pair because we also have a Queen associated with this Devil. Now, if I was reading for somebody directly on a one-to-one reading and they were asking about a relationship, I'd be saying, okay, there might be a toxic feminine energy involved somewhere because of the association with the Devil and the Queen of Pentacles. You notice, I don't know if you can see that, the Devil has that star, obviously the pentagram star on his forehead, which is also the sign on the pentacles as well. And that associates this Queen with that Devil. So it makes her into a bit of a dark Queen. So if I was reading for somebody one-to-one, I'd be saying, look out for a toxic feminine energy, not necessarily a female. Everybody, no matter what gender they are, has that feminine energy, but a darker feminine energy could be quite manipulative, could be wily, could be a bit sly. All right, so that's one interpretation of these cards, the sly feminine energy that needs to be eliminated from your life. However, there is another interpretation of this, and that's if you're represented by the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, female, feminine energy, sorry, could be earthy, could be an earth sign, a Virgo, a Capricorn, a Taurus, but I sort of shy away from talking about star signs as in sun signs because we're looking at earth element signs, and that could mean somebody who's acting like an earth element. So if you're feeling yourself being very practical, if you're going through a stage where you're, being realistic, getting rid of things, finding that you're seeing things more clearly, you're acting like an earth sign. If you're feeling grounded, if you're feeling like you've got your crown on, you're sorting your life out, you're putting your affairs in order, you're finally knowing what's going in and going out of your bank account, yeah? Pentacles is often about money, yeah? Because it's the coins. In some decks, we call it the suit of coins rather than pentacles. I've totally lost my train of thought. So if that has been you, if you've been sovereign over your affairs and being the practical queen, then the message from these cards could be quite different, because it could be saying, right, now you're in charge. Now it's time to do battle with this devil and get rid of it once and for all. Look, fighting. So there's two different messages here. We've either got a dark feminine energy that needs to go, or if you identify as this queen, it's time to slay this demon and get rid, because you're in a position of power over it. Look, did used to do that with like action men and stuff, make them fight. So that's the two potential messages from this card. Hello Terry, how are you doing? So those are the dots. You join them as you see fit. I like those cards a lot. Right, where do we go next? Let's go to number 12. Straight to the top of the house. Top of the house. I need to learn the bingo sayings, don't I? So I can use those. Which makes no sense whatsoever, but never mind. Right, what do we have for number 12? We've got the Sun reversed. We've got the Six of Swords, which are poignant and interesting cards. So we've got a major arcana card there as the Sun. And we've got one of my favourite cards in the deck, the Six of Swords, which always reminds me of the Eight of Cups. First of all, let's go to this major card, because we've got a major arcana card. Remember, a major card is likely to have a major influence on your life, but this is reversed. This speaks of a situation where the sun went out, the shine's come off it, you've lost confidence in something. When we see the sun up that way, it's like the Midas touch. Look at the little kid there riding in the nude on the white horse, like completely hands-free. It's like, I'm confident, I'm going forward, I'm like feeling brilliant, everything's happy, the sun is shining, let's just ride recklessly into the horizon because everything's going to go well, yeah? Beautiful card. When it's upside down, it's like, it's still not a horrendous card, I'll be honest with you, because the power of the sun is powerful. That made a lot of sense. But it's sort of when you tip the scales over and what seemed like perfect is starting to feel like, I can see the cracks. I'm not feeling as confident. I'm not going to ride my horse around naked. I'm going to get off and I'm going to put some pants on. Then I'm going to get back on the horse and put a bridle on because it's feeling a little bit out of control. I might even put a saddle and some stirrups on because I need a bit more control of my life. Yeah. So that's the energy of this card. It's like there's a cloud going over that sun and it feels a little bit unsettling. Hello, Sun Sis. How are you doing? So what we've got here is a situation where we need a little bit of change. The brakes need to come on a little bit. All is not as rosy as it first seemed. Now, this is confirmed by this card. Remember, we're reading in context and we've got the Six of Swords. Now, this is a really interesting and beautiful card, in my opinion, because what you've got here, this dude here is you sitting on a boat. This dude here with a pole is... Actually, I'm not quite sure who he is, but what he's doing is he's taking you to a better place. He's taking you from a place of rough water, turbulence, to calmer times. So these cards would be symbolic of something where the shine has disappeared and something that you've lost confidence in, something doesn't feel as good as it used to, and the need is for you to move away from it. And hello, Mark, how are you? So... interesting cards, and they remind me of, where did we start? Where was my Eight of Cups moment? Sure, we had an Eight of Cups. Oh, it was in the collective reading, wasn't it? So perhaps there's a message coming loud and clear for somebody here. It's time to move away. If it feels like the light has gone out a little bit with something, maybe it's time to recollect those energies, recollect yourself, get on the boat and row to smoother waters, all right? Because the turbulence is getting a bit too much. You could do with a bit of a break. It's time to move away from this situation. Also, because it's the sun, it's high energy. It's like, you know, when something's going well and you've got lots to do from it. Thank you very much, Mark. When you've got lots to do, it's like easy to maintain that energy because you are because it feels good. It's all happening at once, but it feels good to you. It's easy to do. But when it starts feeling like I'm not entirely sure, and your energy level drops and it becomes more difficult to deal with it on a day-to-day basis, and then eventually it becomes a chore and you can't be asked to do it anymore. That's a sort of sun going out moment. It's that cloud coming over the sun. And the advice from these cards is to get out of there. Get on the boat and go to smoother waters, all right? Leave this behind, or at least give yourself a break from it, because it feels like you need to be in a calmer place at the moment rather than dealing with this super powerful energy that's a little bit rocky as well. So get yourself in the boat, be rowed. In fact, it's not rowed, it's poled, whatever that means. I can't remember what the word is for a boat with a pole. We'll just call it poled. Be poled to smoother times and smoother waters. That was number 12. I like those ones. They were good. Right, where do we go next? Let's go to number 11. I've got a good feeling about these cards. Ooh. Who chose number 11 and what have you been up to? Right, let's see. Number 11, we've got the Lovers reversed and we've got the Two of Swords. So, who chose these cards? Speak up now. What do we have? Right. Literally. Now remember, I'm going to give you a literal explanation here. It doesn't mean to say that this is the absolute truth for you. There's, again, cards are nuanced. There could be many, 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 many literal explanations of these cards. It's how they apply to you. But what screams for me here is somebody who's got a decision to make in a relationship between two people. So if they've been playing the field and have to make their mind up, now's the time to do it. Look at the duality in here. Look at those. There's Two of Swords. That woman's blindfolded. She's got two swords. She doesn't know which way to go. This card, the Lovers, obviously it can be in a literal way associated with relationships, love, sex, all those kind of things. When it's upside down, it's like calling your attention to the fact that it could be quite negative. So what do we have here? I mean, it doesn't take much reading between the lines, does it? So these are Kaza, these are number 11. So what we've got here is a situation where there's a choice. Now, literal explanation here, what screamed in my head was, you know, somebody's got a choice to make between two people here. They don't know which way to go. Interestingly, above the Two of Swords, above this woman's head is the Moon, which is like a little bit of advice, which is like follow your intuition. Now, before we all get carried away looking at who chose number 11 and who's in a love triangle, what we've got to realize is that it isn't necessarily, that was a very literal example, this isn't necessarily to do with seeing two people and having to choose between them or cheating on somebody. It can be to do with, the Lovers can also be about things that you love, things that you are emotionally attached to. But the duality leads me to believe that there is still this choice between two different things and you don't know which way to go because of this blindfold here. Choosing between two things that you love can sometimes mean putting one thing down in order to pursue the next thing, yeah? So it can be very difficult and you can feel, well, I don't know which one to give up because I like both of these things. Not necessarily people, could be two different, I mean, for me, it would be two different, like, jobs, that sort of thing. Two different things that you sort of love doing, but they're taking up too much of your time. But which one do you stop doing because you love doing both of them? So if that's what these cards mean, what is the advice? Now, I've touched on it there. It could be that you have to use your intuition. And that's sort of a bit of a get out, isn't it? It's like use your intuition to make the decision. It feels like a bit of a, yeah, well, if it was that easy, we'd all be just walking around using our intuition. We wouldn't have difficult decisions to make. However, there are certain ways that I would recommend that you use how to use your intuition to make this decision. And One way that I'll just share with you this morning with this is your heart chakra. Now, your heart chakra is an energy point in your body, and there's actually been studies done on the field of energy around you and where it radiates from, and the energy from that center here radiates quite a long way. So it's really important, yeah. And some people think it might be where the soul resides. There's lots of different beliefs about it, but for me, it's an energy point, and you can use it to get a yes, no answer to a question, right? Test it, prime it by, first of all, putting your hand here and just thinking about that energy center. Imagine it spinning, imagine it being green or pink, if you like, could be either color, right? And when you've got that visualized in your head, first of all, say yes, and then feel how that feels in your body, and then say no, and then feel how that feels. Now, most people, not all people, most people will feel an expansion, like when they say yes, and a contraction when they say no. You could be awkward and be the other way around, or you might feel something entirely different. You could say yes and get a sort of buzz in your eye or something. Just see how it works for you. But then what you've got is you've got a yes no machine. So when you've got a decision to make like this, and you sort of, it's like tossing a spiritual coin, I guess, but hopefully with a bit more leading from your higher self, I like to look at it as, because I think we've all got a higher self that's like, will you do the right thing? We've been through this before. Make the right bloody decision this time. So perhaps that is how that can communicate with you, or it might be external. We don't know. So try that out. If you've chose number 11 and you've got a difficult decision to make between two things, because you can ask a yes no question, can't you? Should I choose option A? You've got a yes or no. Let me know how that goes. Next cards. Next we shall go to number 6. Number 6, what do we have? We've got the King of Wands and we've got the High Priestess. These are interesting cards. Again, I've gone back to using the adjective interesting. Right. We've got a major arcana card, the High Priestess, and then we've got a King of Wands. We've got a lot of energy going on here, and sovereignty and mastery. We've got almost two opposites here, because the High Priestess is deep, is a thinker. She uses her intuition. She could be he. The High Priestess can be male or female, but it's somebody who sits quietly and thinks things through, uses their intuition, but also accumulates wisdom. They don't rush into anything. They are more like the kind of person who sits back and lets things wash over them all the time, letting that sort of knowledge seep into them. Knowledge is power would be the High Priestess's tagline, yeah? Deep knowledge is power. Think about High Priestesses from ancient Egypt or any of the ancient civilizations. They were revered, and they were the seers, the sayers, and they were basically fonts of information, fonts of knowledge, fonts of wisdom. That was the phrase I was looking for and struggling to find it. And they did that by accumulating wisdom. However they did that, in ancient times they might have used astrology, and in modern times they might use Google, yeah? But it's somebody who accumulates, somebody who learns and thinks before they act. But then we've got the King of Wands, who is a real firecracker and who basically just strides in, takes control and leads. So how would these two energies work together? Well, one potential explanation I can think of would be, all right, you might be in a position where you need to take charge and you need to make changes, and that's the King energy, because that's leading, that's not shying away from responsibilities, that's being in a position where you can make decisions. But I think what the High Priestess is saying here is, okay, hang back first, make sure that you've got all your ducks in a row before you move forward. Make sure that you've accumulated your wisdom, whether you're using astrology, runes, Google, or ChatGPT. Make sure that you've got that information that you need. You might just be using your intuition, but I think the High Priestess says, before you move, before you take action, before you put your crown on as the King of Wands and whip up a storm, make sure that you've got the undercurrent sorted. If this was a body of water, this would be deep water, and this would be the current going along across the top and going towards the sea. So we need to get what's stirring in the deep sorted before we address what's flowing across the top. Because, you know, like, say if you jump in a lake or a river, and sometimes what's on the top isn't what's underneath, but what's underneath will always affect what's on the top. So you need to address the underneath, you need to have the knowledge, you need to sort things out on a deeper level before you go gung-ho in and take charge. But this isn't saying like you're just going to fly off the handle and make rash decisions, because the King of Wands is knowledgeable, he's a great leader, he makes great decisions. But this is like a double whammy. This is like, if you can get the deeper knowledge, the deeper undercurrent sorted first, then tackling the... Oh, a small spider is running across the top of my laptop. Do I run screaming? Or do I be the consummate professional and just sit here and watch it? Don't know. It's gone underneath there now. Oh, we'll just smooth back a little bit. Right, totally distracted. Be the high priestess before you become the king. We'll just watch out for that. It wasn't an enormous spider, it was like this big, but I'm not keen on them. Right, that was number 6. Number 5. Number 5. I forgot to change the screen and everything now. Number 5. What do we have? Number 5. Okay, we have got the 7 of Swords and Judgment reversed. Right, these are cards which take some interpreting. Take some interpreting. Oh, the little spider's coming across the laptop now, and he's going over there towards the microphone. Oh my word. Right. What do these cards mean? I'll just lean across the spider. The 7 of Swords is a card that can be associated, he's called like the cunning strategist, because it's somebody that makes plans, but it can also be something that's underhand. There can be a deceptive element to the 7 of Swords. Some people associate it with like theft, but it's like sort of, it's bigger than a money spider, Sam 3. It's sort of about half, well, I'm going to say about 8 millimeters across. So this card can be associated with deviousness, but it's more like, if you think about somebody who's a good planner, somebody who's a good strategist, often is quite devious because they think things through. The same as somebody who's a good thief, somebody who perhaps is a diamond thief. Imagine all the planning that goes into pulling off a massive heist. Imagine all that. Now, if you look at that card, that guy has nicked those swords and he's doing off with them. So basically, what we've got here is somebody who's planning, who could be quite devious, but at the same time, they're really, really good at planning. I'm totally distracted by the spider now and the comments, and I'm absolutely not picking it up, KG. Right, now, because this card, the Major Arcana card, Judgment, is reversed, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this, is going to be a little bit of a negative influence. So I'm seeing a bit of sort of cunning planning going on around you. Something that's like scheming. That's the word I'm looking for, scheming. What we've got is a decision that has to be made. This is sometimes, this Judgment card, is it comes up when you come to either a crossroads in life, or where you come to a place where you're judging yourself and your life and where you need to go, right? These cards together will be saying, it's time that you were a bit tricksy. It's time that you perhaps were a little bit more of a schemer and didn't let other people dictate to you where they want you to go, if you see what I mean. It's like, all right, it's time to be a little bit of a Queen of Swords here. It's time to be a little bit of a manipulator. Box a little bit clever, okay? Think things through and think ahead. Because this card is saying, okay, you be the schemer. Because it feels like you've let other people dictate your way forward to you, All right, you need to be, let's put this card the right way up. This is now about you judging the right move and taking the right road at the crossroads. Yeah. And that road is you becoming more devious, more of a schemer, but not in a bad way, because we don't really want to be a devious schemer who's sort of negative. But sometimes you just have to be a little bit clever and think things through, and maybe it's not just trust blindly in other people's decision making for you. All right, so no, I haven't frozen today, KLG, so no screenshots, even if I pull a face. So interesting cards. She uses the adjective again. Right, where do we go? I've also become aware that I say right and okay too much as well, which is irritating. But the more you think about these things, the more you say them. It just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm just not going to beat myself up over it, and we're just going to carry on. And now that I've mentioned it, probably everybody else I'll notice it more as well. Where do we go from here? And that's not an existential question. That is referring to the tarot. Where do we go? We're going to go to number 9. Number 9, what do we have here? I think I've rambled on a lot today and waffled on because it's nearly 11:30. I normally go to live questions at 11:30. Right, number 9, what do we have for you? Number 9, we've got the 4 of Cups and we've got the King of Cups reversed. Okay, so we've got emotions because we've got cups. And we've got you being spoilt for choice or not knowing which way to go. And we've got you missing an opportunity. Look at this lady here. Sits with her back against a tree. Looking in woe at the decisions and the things that she has. These are, oh, just thought I'd draw your attention there. See, all my nails have been cut off. I had to cut them off with toenail clippers because I bent them all back, picking up a plank from my decking, which I'm having to dismantle. It was very painful. I digress. She's ignoring the things that she has, and she's missing the opportunity that's being presented behind her. Look, there's that hand coming from the clouds again. Imagine if that was the Ace of Pentacles hand. Look at that, same hand, different location. Opportunity knocks. But what's she doing is she's not even looking at it, right? So she's actually just ignoring this opportunity. She feels a little bit like procrastinating. She feels a bit bored by life. She's sick of the things that she has. She feels discontent. But because she's feeling this discontent, little spider's now going up the light. That's good. Stay over there. She's failing to see something that's being offered to her. Now, because we're associating this with the King of Cups reversed, I feel like this opportunity could be in the form of a male coming into your life or a masculine influence. Sort of, are you ignoring a King of Cups? Are you not listening? Are you not seeing somebody who's standing right next to you going, hello, I'm here, for whatever reason that is? Is it a King of Cups that you're ignoring? Or potentially, are you ignoring the calling of your heart? Is that because the King of Cups is about mastery of the heart, like the Queen of Cups? It's empathetic. It's somebody who is in touch with their emotions. It's somebody who's in control of their emotions, is in a happy place. With this being a reversal and this card involved, contextually, are you ignoring a chance, an opportunity that will bring you happiness because you're just too wrapped up with wallowing and feeling discontent with your life in general? Or you're too wrapped up with looking at which way do I go? Which cup do I choose? I don't know which way to go now. Okay? Do you need to look around you to identify either this person, little spider's coming back down the light now, this person or this opportunity that's going to bring a bit of happiness to your heart? We'll move on from that now. And we're going to number 8. Number 8. 9 of Wands reversed and the King of Swords reversed. Right, these cards, what do they mean? The 9 of Wands is often called the Wounded Warrior card. And when it's upside down like this, it's sort of, you feel a bit defeated. It's like when you've fallen down every hole in the road and, oh my word, here's the next hole. Let's go and fall down this hole as well, because it's like this repeated pattern of behavior. And that's how we do things around here. We fall down the hole and then we regret falling down the hole. And then we feel sorry for ourselves and then we wallow about our falling in holes capability and habit. So this card is almost like a tap on the shoulder to say, right, look, you've been so resilient over the past. Every hole that you've fallen down, you've climbed back out of, all right? So A, don't be too hard on yourself. But B, it's time to let people in a little bit to help you. It's time to open up a little bit potentially to other people, because this Knight of Swords rushing by upside down, which is quite difficult to do, is talking about somebody who's rushing through life and not really seeing what's going on around them. Somebody who's potentially falling down holes because they are quick to anger. We've got swords here. This is conflict. Or just quick to just move on. It's like, right, that's done. Move on to the next thing. Right, how do we do this? Maybe it's because you've got so much on that you're going too fast. Maybe it's like slow down. I always think, sorry, it's a me train again, but I always think when I start to feel stressed and anxious because I've got too much on, when I like need to do more and more and more things, the most important thing to do is to slow down and actually do less. And that puts you more in control of the things that you need to do, and you can prioritize more easily, and that stops you from falling down the holes. Because honestly, the amount of holes I've fallen down because I've been trying to do too much at once, or rushing through everything, or just, yeah, that'll be done, that'll be all right, that'll work out fine, because I'm moving on to the next thing. And that's what these cards could potentially be about, right? But also, it's like this card is also associated with letting down some emotional walls, allowing other people in, potentially allowing other people to help or delegate in. Wouldn't that be great if you could delegate some of those busy things that you had to focus on? If I just jump up and start screaming, it's because that little spider has manifested itself onto me, which would be a great screenshot. Thankfully, I hope it's not going to happen. So the message from these cards is slow down, stop rushing into things, allow things to unfold more slowly, take more notice of the details, potentially put some barriers down. Trust yourself, trust that, yeah, you've fallen down a lot of holes, but you've got yourself out of every one. You are so resilient. You have the power. Resilience is probably one of your superpowers at this point with that 9 of Wands energy. But it sometimes feels like it's going too fast. When it feels like it's going too fast, rein in that horse. Pull heavily on those reins, even slow down to a Knight of Pentacles trot, and just take things more slowly. And then you'll find that you can avoid the holes more easily. Right, last set of cards here. That's how many people have we still got left on TikTok? 11. Hello, TikTok people. We're coming to the time now, once I've done these cards, where you can type in some live questions if you like. If you have a live question, it might be easier to come across to YouTube. YouTube channel is at Sky Spirit Creations, or I will try and catch them on TikTok as well. It's just more difficult to see questions there. If you're on YouTube, now would be the time to start typing in your question, because the chat's always a little bit behind. If you're watching this as a recording, please stick around and take what resonates from you. Resonates for you, because it's all good advice, yeah? Right, you're very welcome, Tashelle. Let's have a look. Oh, I hadn't even turned the cards over. I've turned the cards over now. Ooh. I'm sure I had this pair the other day. This is the Two of Cups relationship card. The Page of Pentacles, often reversed, often trouble at work. So these cards, a literal explanation of these cards could be a relationship at work that's causing problems. But it can also be, this doesn't have to be like an office affair. It could be working very closely with somebody at work, building a relationship with somebody at work, harmonious relationship with somebody at work. I like that. Which potentially causes problems, maybe jealousy with other people at work. But whatever it is, this card is a really strong indication of like things working out well with a significant other, whether that is a lover or a love person, or somebody you're married to, somebody you're in a relationship with, something like that. It can be a friend, can be a co-worker, and I'm erring on the side of co-worker because we've got the Page of Pentacles there and we're looking at this contextually, but not necessarily. Yeah, these are dots, you join them, but wherever it is, we've got strong positive harmony energy in partnerships. This is also a card associated with new relationships, with meeting new people, or if you're in a relationship, becoming more committed. Even marriage. Look at these two. They're actually exchanging vows with a sort of eagle, owl, angel thing with wings, looking over them, going, yeah, respect, you're doing the right thing. So it's like if you were getting married and you saw this card, it would be like, yeah, this is good. Great marriage, well done. But that's, again, it's very specific. But it's about harmony in relationships. It's about duality. It's about finding somebody and being with somebody that mirrors you, that you can relate to, soulmates, twin flames, or just very good friends, okay? But it's working in harmony. But then bring in the page upside down face here, and that isn't as harmonious. So how do these two cards relate together? There's something that's working out well, but it's causing disruption as well for a page. Now, could be disruption at work. The other interpretation I wanted to mention was your page is often, it's a child of the deck, yeah? Pentacles is earth, so somebody, a child who's quite earthy, or a young person, or somebody with a young state of mind, that's sort of very practical. Could be a Taurus, a Capricorn. My head goes blank. What's the other earth sign? Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, or somebody who acts like that. And it could be unsettling them. So again, literal example, again, you could be in a relationship with somebody who has a child who's feeling a little bit unsettled by that relationship. That would be another literal example of these cards. Or let's do a third explanation, just because I'm running 8 minutes over time anyway. So why not just be properly late? I can't be too late because I've got a reading booked after this as well. It could also be a relationship which isn't doing your finances any good, because we've got pentacles and we've got a page here. It could be a little bit of a tap on the shoulder that maybe you're focusing too much on a relationship and not putting enough effort into work, or something about it is like not ringing true financially for you. Right, I'm going to move on from that, because those two cards really, they've got many interpretations. Again, I try to give you an overview of the cards so that you can join those dots. Hello Nay, how are you doing over on TikTok there? Right, I'm shuffling these cards and I'm gonna try and see. I know there was questions right at the beginning, so I'm gonna go right up to the top. Roshan, like one character and looks of my future partner. Okay, looks and character of your future partner or spouse. That's a tricky one, Roshan. I think the tarot are often much better at emotions, moods, feelings, actions than they are at looks. But character, yes. Future spouse, that's interesting. Right, let's have a look. Roshan, if you're still here, you said like 1. So we're going to go 4. Right, I'm going to go with, we've got 3 cards here and a clarifier that I pulled. So bear with me with this one. Right, what we've got here, I'm trying to get my hands the right way up here. What we've got is, there's a crossroads. You have to make a decision about this future partner, and it feels like it's somebody who you potentially find you're in conflict with. So it's not somebody that the character of this person isn't somebody that you instantly just click with. It feels like they sort of brush you up the wrong way, rub you up the wrong way, yeah? Because that 5 of Swords is about conflict, and then we've got a choice to be made at crossroads. Look at that guy. He's looking back at these 2 people walking away. It's like you might have fallen out with this person and then you regret it, or perhaps your relationship starts because of an argument. Perhaps you meet because of conflict, but then you decide that, or you see them as in a different light, and that leads to your star moment. So it's what you've always wanted from them. Now, I'm going to ask what about their physical characteristics on a different sort of read, because I didn't want to confuse the two. So what do we have here? We have a Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, physical characteristics. All right, it's somebody who's fast moving, fast talker, but the wands are fire. So it's often somebody who reminds you of spring, of fire. Could be a redhead, could be somebody with blonde hair, somebody who's got that animated face, somebody who could be that often lighter haired, I have to say, lighter eyes, maybe he's blues, maybe he's green, somebody who's that sort of thing. But obviously I'm looking at a Caucasian explanation of this. So obviously different skin tones, going to be different ways that this is represented. But it's that lighter, it's a more sort of fiery appearance, that sort of glint in the eyes, things like that. Yeah, so wands being fire and knight being a youthful, young energy. When we talk about looks, it's different, isn't it? Because, obviously different races are going to have different looks. But look for the spark, I think. Look for the spark in the eyes, or that lighter countenance. Countenance is an old word, isn't it? Or lighter hair. This is often associated with people with red hair as well. So potentially, because we're looking at fire. But the Knight of Wands is also a fast mover, somebody who's full of energy, somebody who moves from one thing to another quite quickly. So somebody who's quite exciting. Right, Nithya, like to... guidance for this week. Oh, got a hair in my cards. There's lots of hair in this house because I have lots of hair, and my daughter also has lots of hair. Even though she's at university now, her hair remains in places that I keep finding it. And my cats and dogs also have lots of hair. So we are a hairy household. I really am waffling on, aren't I? Right, Nithya. Let's see what we've got for you this week. Right. Okay, staying away from competition, because we've got the Ten of Swords and we've got the Five of Wands combined here. So it feels like people are backbiting around you. It's like, don't listen to gossip. Don't listen to people who are potentially acting from a place of jealousy or trying to put you down to make themselves look better. Because it feels like this Knight of Cups energy is potentially there, but we've got this Ten of Swords in the middle between arguing, people, backbiting, jealousy, which could lead to a situation where you miss out on the Knight of Cups energy, which is beneficial, which is a benefactor, could be a person coming into your life, a knight, who with this is, I'll tell you this now, this card is sometimes called the Knight in Shining Armor card, because it can be a potential suitor or somebody who sweeps in and saves the day. But however you look at it, it's a beautiful energy and it's emotionally fulfilling and it's an emotional journey. Remember, the knight goes on a quest in times of old. So it's cups, it's your heart, it's going on a quest. But what stands between what could trip you up in starting this quest or meeting this person is a potential incident caused by listening to gossip or listening to people who are jealous or people who are talking rubbish in your ear, like saying, oh, don't do that, or don't listen to him, or don't do that, don't go there, or you're not good enough to do that. All right, look at those little kids hitting each other with sticks. That's because they're like little mosquitoes buzzing around you, and it's like they're to be ignored. They're competition that needs to be put down. Okay, so what we do is we don't listen to this. We avoid the Ten of Swords. Okay, because often don't you realize that sometimes when we listen to other people, when we follow what we think they want us to do or their way of doing things, and we end up in a sticky situation, things go wrong for us. These are cards which speak about following your own true heart, making your decisions, deciding what you want and not letting other people sway your opinion, particularly because it feels like they're not coming from the best place. And then you move to your Knight of Cups moment. I hope that makes sense to you. Right, Kaza. Is Kaza still here? Right. Let us have a look, Kaza, at your day. Giving the cards good shuffle here. And we'll have a look. Right. Okay, so we have got great news. All right, we have got the Ace of Cups. First of all, this is the new beginnings emotionally. This is you feeling like everything can be put down. Now, associate this with the Ten of Wands. This is emotional baggage that you've been carrying for some time, and it feels like finally the pressure eases because we've got the Eight of Swords reversed as well. That lady has been in a prison of worry, and a prison of her own making, a prison in her own mind, stress, anxiety and worry. Now with this being reversed and with this Ace of Cups and then this Ten of Wands, it's like it has finally happened where you can put down the worry and you get a new start. Okay, so it feels like we have a positive outcome for you here. I've also got this Two of Pentacles reversed here, and I pulled a clarifier, and it feels like this is also a little nudge to say you've also been juggling too much. All right, now that you can walk away from this position of worry a little bit with this sort of new potential, new start. You can start things new. It's time to stop juggling too much as well, because it feels like there's been a bit of overwhelm and burnout, and it's time to become more balanced again, which is up that way when he's in control of his balls. All right, because when it's up that way, he's dropped his balls all over the floor because he tried to juggle too many of them. So Kaza, you need to control your balls better and embrace the new start, because it's time to put down this prison, and you can move away from it. You can release the worry, putting down the burdens, starting this new emotional journey for you. And you're very welcome. I've got tingles again with that one. I like that. Right, and scroll. Oh, let's see if there's anything on TikTok. Nothing on TikTok that I can see, although it is difficult to see. I can't see anything on TikTok. I'm going to have to find a new method for this. Oh, wait. What did I see there? Can you pull a card for me today? KLG, I certainly can. I shall pull 3. And we shall see. Right. I see the fact that, right, we've got the Hanged Man reversed here. It feels like it's now time to take action. It's time to stop sort of sitting on the fence about something. There's something that, because we've got this associated with the Four of Cups, which is again that directionless, not really knowing which way to go and not understanding that this opportunity is coming from behind you. That Ace of Pentacles hand is like, right, this is your way forward, but you're sort of unsure of which way to go. The Hanged Man, Major Arcana card, is saying, right, it's time to drop down off the tree, Mr. Odin, okay? Trying to cut that rope and land on your feet, because it's like you've sat on the fence about something, and now it's time to be more decisive. Now, I feel like it's a moment of justice. What we've got is we've got the Justice card, Major Arcana card. So this is a major transformation or a major change or something important that you have to do. And it feels like justice is going to be served, but it means you're going to have to take some steps in order to do it, right? Justice is around the corner. Could be a karmic justice, could be a legal justice, could be just somebody gets what they deserve. But it's like, no more sitting on the fence about it. Time to move forward, decide which way to go and get this justice meted out, because it's coming, yeah? Now, what I've also got, when I pulled my clarifier there, I had the Five of Pentacles. That also speaks about potentially some kind of financial loss going on there as well. But the Five of Pentacles is an interesting card when it's teamed with justice, all right? Because it feels like there is the potential for financial loss unless you get this justice thing sorted out, yeah? The help is coming from the justice, the help that gets you out of the financial loss. Look at the people there walking through the snowstorm. Man has one leg. It's like finding it very difficult going. Potential for losing money here or losing material possessions. But sorting out justice, getting a good decision on something is going to change that. It's going to mean that that card becomes a reversal, which means that you don't experience those losses. You become sort of, they reverse, if you see what I mean. It's like what was lost returns to you. So the loss is taken from the arena, if you see what I mean. And the way to do this is that first card. It's that reversal of the Hanged Man. It's not hanging around anymore. It's making a definitive decision about which way to go and then going for it and achieving that moment of justice. Right, I hope that was some use to you or relevant. I hope it was. What else do we have? I can't. You've said, KLG, that you can't pin the comments. I can't even see the pinned comments on what I've got on the screen, so I wouldn't worry about it. I'm going to have to try to sort out another different thing for TikTok, because I seem to have gone through various options, and I can't see them anyway. So, and I can't see cats. Oh, there we are. Right. Moving down the YouTube chat now. If you're watching this as a recording, it must be very confusing. Kaza, I hope you have a great day. Roshan, we've done that one. Remember to put QQQ, as the wonderful mods have been saying, because it just makes it a little bit easier for my old eyes to see. Not entirely easy. Thank you, mods, for all the wonderful comments, and KLG for the gifted memberships. And you know, I've got a sweaty finger. You know, when you're sometimes trying to scroll with your touchpad and it like goes, and then it goes because you've got a sweaty finger and it jumps. Most irritating. Right. Oh, I just had a tingle on my finger and thought the spider had returned, but it hasn't. I'm still going down this thing here. I can't see any more questions. I do apologise for my concentration face here, but I'm trying not to miss anything. Can I ask a question? Namira, yes, you can ask a question. Is it they are competing with me? Oh, is it they are? Yeah. Okay, right, no, I did that one, didn't I? Zen. Greetings from France. Hi, Zen, how are you doing? Yes, you can ask a question about finding a new job. Is that the question? Yes, I think it is. Right, Zen, let's have a look. Did I answer this question the other day for you as well? I can't remember. Zen. Interesting. I always say that. Right, what do we have here? We have got a King of Swords right in the middle. Now, for me, swords, well, for everybody, in fact, swords is often about communication. A king is about mastering communication. Potentially looking at a new job in some kind of teaching or communication role, some kind of where you're imparting knowledge, but almost in a leadership role as well. So what we're looking at here as well is we've got you as the Page of Wands reversed. So I feel like your energies might have been a bit scattered when it comes to finding a new job at the moment. And perhaps you've sort of tried a few different things without being able to settle on one thing in particular. And I've also got the Angel of Temperance coming out as a reversal, which speaks about a need for moderation. And I would say that means to be more tunnel visioned as to what you want. Now, I would tie it down to one particular thing that you want to do and then stick with that, because I feel like you might have changed your mind a few times. I'll pull a clarifier on that. We've got the Five of Wands. Now, in this context, the Five of Wands, although it can be people around you competing, it can also mean teamwork when you're asking about work. Notice how these cards change their interpretation depending on the context of the question. So I feel like this is something where you're looking at some kind of work in communication or teaching, but in a leadership role, in charge of a team of people. And it feels like this would be the right way forward for you. But again, the scattered energy and the need for moderation would suggest that you need to hone what you want more, rather than sort of casting a wide net. I feel like you need to be more laser focused on achieving this position, on getting this job that you want. Okay, I hope that makes some sense for you there. Namira, I put boundaries to my son Gert. Let me just press this arrow. Oh no, it's disappeared. Oh, it's come back. Right, I put boundaries to my son Gert, and I am writing him a letter. How will he respond? He knows why, but I am done with emotional manipulation. That's a really important question, Namira, and we'll have a look and see what the cards have to say. PLG, did I pull cat cards for cats from TikTok, or have I missed that? I thought I pulled them. Maybe I'm wrong though. Right, Namira, let's see. Sorry, I need to focus more on your question there. I think that you've got the potential here to make a difference. Now, what I've got is, Kazza will be pleased to see this, because I have the Cabbage Man, dun, da, 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 who always indicates we're going to have a good day. In the context of your question, Namira, this is somebody who plants the seeds and waits for the harvest, but they're called, in Pythastro Tarot, they're called the patient nurturer. So it's not like you just chuck in the seeds and you get your cabbages the next day, right? It's planting seeds and it's waiting for them to grow. But the reason why I'm really, really optimistic for you is the other two cards that I pulled here are to do with, right, that's the Ten of Pentacles, which is to do with generational wealth, but it's also to do with sort of the ties that hold a family together. If you look on that card, you've got like a whole family, even the dog. We've got granddad, parents, child. Obviously, that's, you know, that's a metaphor for your whole family, whatever your whole family looks like, all together under this reign of pentacles, and sort of an archway going to a new place in life as well. It's that feeling of security with family, and it's the potential to go through a portal. This is a portal card, because in the distance through the arch we've got a home. So it's finding your way home with somebody in your family. And then we've got the Four of Wands. Again, this is a card that talks about stability in the family. Remember, fours, four legs on a table, you've got a stable table. Stable table, I like it. Also on that card, you've got another family sitting beneath the bower of their, it's actually like a wedding bower, and it's about commitment in families and feeling happy and secure. So those two cards together, teamed with this one, I'm really pleased that we got these cards, Namira, because I think the message here is loud and clear. It's like, you're going to plant a seed with this letter, okay? And I understand that you're done with emotional manipulation. So I think it's about distance. It's about planting the seed, but then stepping back and waiting for it to grow, being the patient nurturer, but not sort of becoming involved in the minutiae, in the detail of the emotional manipulation. Sort of send the letter and wait. How will he respond? I don't see him responding immediately, and I think that's important. I think it's important that he's allowed the space to absorb the information. But what really pleases me is these two cards, this outcome. I feel like if you're patient, you will return to a more settled and a more sort of stable family life, whatever that relationship is between you and him. These are both positive cards that speak of family stability. Now, I often say this, but I feel like sometimes the tarot is like, I'll ask a question and it's like frantically, I can see all these little, say in the tarot factory, all these little workers sitting going, find cards that can answer that question, because obviously they can't like spell it out. So they try to find cards that give you the best sort of example of what they're trying to say, and then it's up to the reader to go, well, this means this, and have a look at this. So these cards are both about security in family, yeah, and happiness in family. But that card is about planting the seeds and waiting. It's about being the patient nurturer. So I hope that helps, Samira, and I wish you every single piece of luck possible with that. Crystal, what opportunity is coming my way? I'm going to have a look. Let's ask the cards, Crystal. Let us see what opportunity is coming your way. Let me just put TikTok back on the screen and see what's happening over there. And then, so, right, I've got to do cats as well. Right, cats, I will. I'm gonna do that. I thought I had, but I hadn't. Right, Crystal, and then we'll do cats. Crystal, what opportunity is coming your way? Something really good, Crystal. But it's not without a hitch. I'm going to show you the cards and then we'll go through the explanation. Right. When I said something really good, because we've got the World and we've got the Four of Pentacles here. Pentacles, money, opportunity, stability. See how this guy holds these pentacles to his chest. It's like, this is something really good. This is something that could offer you financial security. This is something that can really bring things together for you, create a more stable time in life. But it's karmic as well. That World indicates a cycle. So it's like something is coming together for you. Something is going to happen that opens doors, but potentially closes others as well. It may be that there's a new path entirely for you to follow. It's like something that you've wanted, something that you've pushed for, becomes available to you, and taking that road will lead you to a place of financial and domestic stability. Okay, so it's like an opportunity that brings security to you, and it feels karmic. Now this doesn't feel relationship based, it feels like money based. It feels like the potential for expansion, and I say that because the first card that we had is the Three of Wands reversed. Now this card, up this way, it's about expansion. It's often like associated with, if you had a business and you were thinking about expanding overseas or something like that, you might see this card. Now, because this is this way up, what I'm seeing is that potentially there's a hurdle to start with. It's like something that you plan to do doesn't go right, or you need to rethink an expansion plan. So if you're thinking about changing something or going in a new direction, potentially what you need to do is rethink that, because it feels like you might be manifesting in the wrong direction for something in order to achieve this stability and this world. World is a great card for the question that you're asking. It's like, wow, the world is literally being handed to you here. You couldn't get a better opportunity, if you see what I mean. But you need to make some changes first. You need to examine your plans carefully and make sure that anything you're expanding, it's like it's not a new thing. New would have been more your Two of Wands. It's something you're already doing, but changing or expanding or growing. All right. Rethink that or readdress it and look at where you're going with it, because the potential is here for huge opportunity financially for you and to achieve some real stability and a world-changing, your world-changing opportunity, something karmic, something that ends a cycle, something that brings that full revelation to you. I hope that makes sense to you. Thank you, Zen, for the feedback. I think I saw some feedback from you, or was it somebody else I saw it from? Sorry, I wasn't being sarcastic if you hadn't put feedback on. I thought I had seen some before. Right, cats, let's see what we've got for you. I'm going to have to go soon because I've got another reading coming up, like a one-to-one. Right, cats. Cats. What we've got for you is the Devil, the Magician, and the Ace of Cups, right? So there's something that you need to put down, right? Basically, we've got the magician right smack bang in the middle here. So we've got you manifesting something. We've got you manifesting something as above, so below. And there's something to do with a devil, a toxic thing, a demon, something. I mean, that sounds really scary, doesn't it? But it's something to do with putting aside or putting down one thing. Look at that. This is when I put these cards together. Sometimes you've got to look at the pictures more closely, because look, that side is down, putting down the devil, moving forward with a new emotional journey. Now, this can also be you taking charge of letting go of something toxic relationship, trauma bonds, a devil from the past, a demon on your back. You take up your wand as the magician and you get you behind me, get down, devil. You put it down, yeah? So you're able to use your energy to manifest the end of this, whatever this represents to you. You are now in charge. You have got the wand in your hand, the wand of power, and it's time to cut ties with this toxic thing, whatever it is. Because once you've done that, what we've got for you is the Ace of Cups, which is one of the most beautiful cards, I think, in the deck, because it's about new emotional beginnings. Look how lovely that looks. So it's a card that's about new relationships, marriage, new beginnings, emotional happiness, starting afresh, fresh starts, feeling better about yourself, falling in love with yourself again. Once you let go of, this can also be guilt and shame, or it can be sort of just memories from the past that you're not pleased about. Once you become the magician, move heaven and earth to get rid of this, because then you will manifest your Ace of Cups, your new relationship with either another person or yourself. But it's certainly this real feeling of refreshment. This is like a factory reset of your emotions, because once you dump this virus, computer virus that's been sort of pulling you back, you can move forward with this with a clean memory. Be the magician, cats. Pick up your wand. That's a really powerful card, but it talks about you are the manifester, you are the changer, you are the person in control. So you need to take control. Don't let it just happen to you. Be the change. Make the change. I nearly slipped into a cliche there. Be the change you want to see, but narrowly avoided it. Right. Okay. Okay. I think I have covered everything. I hope that resonated for some of you and made sense for others of you. Thank you for being here with me this morning. It's been awesome as always. I hope to see you back here on Wednesday. If you're watching this as a recording, I hope that you've got answers to some questions. Remember, this is relevant to you now. So take from this the energy and the advice that you need, and trust that the universe will have led you here for a reason, just as I hope it leads you back here on Wednesday. So thank you for being here. Thank you to my awesome mods. Thank you to everybody in the chat. So lovely, especially KLG for those gift memberships. You are an absolute earth angel. Love you lots. Speak to you all soon in the cyber universe, and stay weird.